Good evening. My name's Ewan. I work for Meridian Accommodation, and today I'm going to be taking you through the 6 C's of holiday lets. The 6 C's are essentially the rules that you are going to be following when you are looking for these holiday lets, okay? Now, holiday lets are such a great strategy that there are one or two rules that you can even bend. Virtually every other strategy, you want to follow these C's, the particular C's for that property, to the letter. Holiday lets, you can sometimes work that a little bit. So let's get started with capacity. Holiday lets, the ones that we're going to be looking at, are Sleeps 16, okay? 7 or 8 bedroom properties, 2 large lounges, because you need to seat 16 people, a dining area that seats 16 people, a minimum of 3 bathrooms, and ideally, you want a toilet as well as those 3 bathrooms, okay? The reason for that is essentially in the UK market right now, there is a sweet spot at 16 people, okay? If you imagine a graph, on this side, you've got the amount of money that you can make off of these properties, okay? And along the bottom, you've got the amount of people that your holiday let can take. So 2 to 4 is normal, 4 to 6 is normal, 4 to 8, the change is still normal, all the way up, okay? Now you get a little bit of an uptick when you get to 14. When you get to 16, it goes right up. It goes parabolic. The reason for that is because of the audience that you are looking at when you buy a Sleeps 16. You are looking for baby boomers, all right? Baby boomers. They will have basically at this point been to most of the countries they want to visit. They are also perhaps, let's be honest, slightly worried about what the rest of the world is like now. There's quite a lot of terrorism. There's a lot of problems with COVID, and who knows if you get stuck over in another country whilst you're away. They quite like the idea of, one, holidaying in the UK now and supporting the local tourism industry here, but two, being able to holiday with their family. If you have a Sleep 16, that's perfect because they can go and they've got 2 generations of their family beneath them, their legacy. They can go on holiday with that. That's brilliant. You're giving these people such an opportunity. So that's your audience, essentially. Sleep 16, and you want to be targeting baby boomers, okay? Next, we're going to be going on to City. Actually, before I go on to City, I want to just point out that you need a hot tub in these properties. They will net you an extra £100 to £200 per week in income. And hot tubs usually want to be able to put 8 people at once in one of those, okay? So 8 bedrooms ideally, 2 large lounges, or maybe even one enormous one, dining area for 16 people, 3 bathrooms, ideally and a toilet, and that hot tub. That's going to make you a lot of money, that hot tub. So next, you need a location where people want to go on holiday. You can use Sykes Cottages or holidaylettings.co.uk, or you could simply go on Google and just Google your town holiday lets, all right? Search for properties of your type and size in that town that you're already looking for them to have 20 weeks forward bookings. You are looking for them to have 20 weeks booked up already. You're doing that because you want to know basically if there is demand in that area. Because we're all human, we have our own tastes, all right? I don't think everybody would just love to go to one of these and it's right next to a docks. But maybe that's your perfect idea, but it's not going to rent well, okay? You can check forward bookings just by looking at the diaries that are provided with those properties. So next we're going to be going on to capital. So it's not a capital growth strategy, but you still want to get that in the mix. Now, if you don't know what a capital growth strategy is, essentially it's where you are relying on refinancing and the asset growth of the property to make you your money. If you don't know what refinancing is, it's essentially another way that you can get money out of your property, and I've got a video on it here. Go and follow that because there's far more ways than just renting to get money out of a property. And I bet you didn't know that, and I bet that you're interested now. Go here. So, with capital, you are still wanting to get capital growth. You're still wanting your property to go up in value every year. The average in the UK is 7.9% a year, which means that the price of your property should double every 10 years. Now, we use a conservative estimate because we use 5%, and due to the compound effect, that basically means that it's gone up 50% after 10 years rather than 100%. So just keep that in mind. But what you're going to be wanting to do is keep up with that. Now, let's use an example. If you buy in quite a rural area and there's one factory or one industry that employs most of the people that live there, and that place goes out of business, everyone's going to move out because they can't get jobs there anymore. The housing prices there are going to plummet, and the price of your holiday let is going to plummet as well. You could still be making the same amount of money off it, unlikely because now you're sending people to a ghost town, but who knows, maybe. But the price that you'd be able to get for that property is going to have either gone down or stayed the same, which means that you cannot refinance. And again, I must touch on this again. If you want to learn about refinancing, go up here because it's a secret weapon for a good property investor, okay? And you want to be a good property investor. So, minimize the risk of you basically losing the value of your property by no fault of your own, all right? Do not buy somewhere where there's one giant industry, one giant factory that employs everybody in that village or town. So, next, cash flow. Cash flow is your next C. This is a cash flow strategy, okay? You are basically wanting to be getting 18% return on your capital invested from the start. How do I work that out? Well, first of all, you go to one of the many holiday lettings agents, or just letting agents. So Sykes are quite good. Up here in the north, we use Cottages because as you go further down south, I tend to find Sykes are better, but when you're further up here, Cottages certainly seem to be able to give us better figures and actually make good on them. So you can also use other ones, but those are the ones we use. Now, you will tell them about your property. You'll tell them what the property you're looking at, provided it's past the other rules. You'll tell them whether it's going to have a hot tub, if it's going to be 4-star. You're going to be talking also about whether you're going to allow pets. You're also going to be talking about a smoking area if you're going to have one. You basically want to get down to the luxury of your property, let's say, all right? All the amenities you're going to have. They're going to come back to you and say, look, we reckon that we'd be able to rent it out for this much a year, all right? So you're going to take that number. That's your gross, all right? That's called your gross income from the property. You need to take all of your other costs out, so your actual fees to that letting agent, how much you're paying them to market your property. You also need to take into account things like cleaning, laundry, maintenance, mortgage, the insurance, the hot tub costs. You need to make sure that this place is going to run, okay? And you get that number from them. You take out all your costs, and then you've got left your profit. That profit needs to be 18% for that first year. It needs to be 18% at least of what you employed to get the place up and running. So, to get the place up and running, that's the deposit on your mortgage. Those are any refurbishments, any furnishings like sofas or beds that you put up in there, okay? You need to be getting an 18% return on that money invested into the property in your first year. Now, I said that there are 1 or 2 rules that we break, or at least bend. This can be one of them. Because you're going to be refinancing these things, within 2 years, you're going to be able to refinance, get the money back out, and then you'll have less capital invested into that property, which means that the return is going to be going back up, okay? So if there is any one of these rules that you can bend, it would be that one, but you really don't want to be going much below 15, and I certainly wouldn't consider one that's below 12, okay? However, if it works for you, if it's perfect, these are big properties that are going to be going up in value, they're only getting more rare, maybe it's worth it to you. So the next one is check. So as covered in City a little bit, you need to know that this property is going to rent well, all right? So you need to look for identical properties in terms of size and area on the holiday let sites. So those are Cottages, like we mentioned earlier, or Sykes. Those are the sorts of places you need to be looking for. They've got to be within 3 miles of your property, and you've got to check that they are at least booked up for 20 weeks in the future, okay? Now, if there's a few of your type, they all need to have 20 weeks of bookings in the future. The only exception to that would be if one has recently come online within the past, couple of weeks or something like that. They won't have booked up immediately, so it's okay for them to not have 24 weeks of bookings. That's an outlier. You can put that out of your mind. Lastly, we're going to be talking about contingency. This is your 6th C. Your first holiday let is going to have £10,000 of rainy day money. And that's essentially because holiday lets are an exceptionally seasonal strategy. You're going to have a lot more bookings in summer than you are in winter. You're going to be charging more in summer than you are in winter. It's just because, it's the summer holidays. People are out. They want to get on holiday. They want to go to a house that they might not be able to even dream of owning. And you are providing them that opportunity. In winter, this is just my experience. People do tend to perhaps maybe want to go and see their family in their own homes, that kind of thing. There is just less traveling around winter. People are less likely to book a holiday let and go there. So yeah, it is quite a seasonal strategy. So keep 10 grand on hand for rainy day money for that first holiday let. Further ones, you can go down to 5 grand. Okay, so your second one can be 5, third can be 5. And yeah, that's just to keep the place running, the lights on, whilst there aren't people in there. So those are the 6 C's of holiday letting. And like I said, go here to find out a little bit more about the 4 profit levers, particularly refinancing. You'll also find cash flow in there, which we touched on. And guys, stick around on the channel. There's lots of brilliant things here to guarantee your financial freedom. I'll see you later. Take care.